Hi everybody, I am going to talk about understanding the skills and techniques for social casework practice. Social caseworkers are expected to function in different settings such as hospitals, educational institutions, social service agencies, family counseling centers, child welfare organizations, and so on. In order to respond to the needs of different types of persons, social caseworkers are required to acquire certain essential skills in social casework practice. At the end of this talk, you will know the categories of skills, learn the specific skills and techniques, and understand the necessary attitudes for effective functioning. Let me state the categories of skills required for social casework practice. Communication skills, problem-solving skills, critical thinking skills, skill in finding out alternative solutions, skill in the use of resources, decision-making skill, memory skill, computer-related skill, and skill in working with others. Let me begin with the communication skills. Communication skills refer to oral communication, written communication, text reading skill, and use of document skill. Let me describe each of these skills. Oral communication is understood as a process of sharing information or ideas by word of mouth. It can be formal or informal. With advances in technology, new forms of oral communication continue to develop. In the context of casework practice, social caseworkers hold face-to-face conversation with their clients or persons with problem, discuss their problems, engage in interactions with the family members and other significant people in the life of the clients. They interview clients to assess their needs and determine the services required. They ask open-ended questions to gather information about the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and financial health of the person with a problem. They listen actively to the responses of the person, explain their services, and suggest appropriate resources. They need to have good oral communication skill in order to be effective in such interventions. Caseworkers discuss their casework programs with colleagues and social service agencies. With the consent of the clients, they may share information about their situations and needs. They may have to take up advocacy work for their clients. They can make good use of their oral communication skill in such discussions, consultations, and advocacy programs. Caseworkers coordinate care strategies and seek advice about counseling strategies and resources. They and their supervisors meet regularly to debrief and further develop their casework skills. They also meet to discuss other work-related issues such as caseloads and administrative procedures. Some social caseworkers participate in coalition meetings with other professionals to develop social policy and coordinate new initiatives in their communities. Their oral communication skill is very helpful in such situations. They may get opportunities to deliver talks in educational seminars and workshops in educational institutions. They present information about particular program and services, current social issues, and casework interventions. They adjust their communication styles and the content of their talk to suit the audiences of school children or college youth or teachers or medical doctors. Their oral communication skill really enhances the quality of their performance in all such occasions. A written communication refers to writing skill, which is an important part of communication. Good writing skill enables one to communicate his or her message with clarity and ease to a far larger audience than through face-to-face or telephone conversations. Poor writing skill creates poor first impression, and many readers will have an immediate negative reaction if they spot a spelling or grammatical mistake. In social casework, caseworkers write comments on forms such as intake and assessment forms, referrals and discharge summaries. They write case notes for files of the person. They record information about personal problems, home situations and concerns. They detail their own observations about progress made and matters that require follow-up and consider carefully what they write down. Social case workers write letters to co-workers and colleagues such as doctors, psychiatrists and so on. They write letters of referral outlining their observations, recommendations, reasons for referrals and summarizes the situations. They appeal to agencies, both government and non-government, philanthropists and so on, for financial assistance and other support to their clients through writing letters. Social caseworkers may draft policies related to social issues. They summarize the background of the client, analyze implications for social work practice, and propose changes in policies regarding the problem in focus. For example, a social case worker may write a community planning report which suggests the integration of suicide intervention protocols into medical counseling services. Thus, writing skills serve as a means of effective communication to individuals, groups, or larger audience. Text reading skill is necessary for a caseworker to function effectively in his or her practice. Social caseworkers may read instructions for administration and descriptions of potential side effects on the labels of medications. Take for example, a psychiatric social worker may scan the label of an antipsychotic medication to locate information about how often clients need to take the drug. They need to read brief notes and comments written on a variety of reporting forms. Reading these notes is to know the background, needs and requests for assistance. For example, a caseworker working with child care may review notes from the report of a children's hospital to learn about the physical trauma that a child has suffered. Caseworkers should read newsletters, magazines and newspapers to stay informed about current social casework issues. They often pass useful information on to co-workers and clients. They read training manuals and their organization's policy and protocol manuals. They should be familiar with the legislations related to social policy and programs so that they will be able to guide their clients in matters related to social welfare. They should be able to read medical reports for assessments into intervention plans, social casework programs, and community development initiatives. They should read relevant resource books, textbooks, and articles from peer-reviewed journals to learn about various topics such as child abuse, drug addiction, mental illness, management of grief and loss, and community development. Their reading skills will help them to expand their knowledge, incorporate it into their casework practice, and assist with the social casework research. For example, reading articles from the Journal of Gerontological Social Casework and books about the abuse of the elderly may further the understanding of caseworkers involved in working with the elderly and help them to develop prevention programs for the elderly. In fact, reading helps to improve writing skill. As one reads, he or she may pick up new vocabulary and learn to write in different styles. Problem solving skill. People face a number of problems in their daily life. Anything that affects and cripples the functioning of an individual or a group of persons may be understood as a problem. In the same manner, unsatisfied needs or wants may also result in problems. Problems can be broadly categorized into physical, psychological, and social. One of the goals of social casework is to enable individuals to work through the problem. Suitable problem-solving skills such as enhancing the individual's inner resources, modifying the environment, linking with the external resources, and so on will help in finding solutions. Critical thinking skills. Social caseworkers make an assessment of the needs of the person with the problem. They interview the person and their families to gather information about the stressors and social support. They help the person to take informed decisions in the process of problem solving. They should function in an ethical and educated manner in order to best serve their organization. This is where critical thinking comes in. Critical thinking involves searching for answers with an open mind and using information to serve in the best manner given the situation. When used correctly, these skills empower an individual during crisis situation and assist a social worker in utilizing the available resources to the optimum level. Social caseworkers can make use of their critical or analytical thinking in assessing the performance of other social workers or students or volunteers. They can review and improve their analytical skills with the feedback given by their clients. Assessment of the person's emotional health and mental stability involves analytical skill. They ask questions and compare responses to explore benchmarks of wellness such as self-worth, happiness, and existence of supportive relationships. Some social workers take up psychosocial assessment and screening tools and analyze the results against norms. They assess the behavior and examine their appearance to identify signs of stress, poor health, and indications regarding the emotional instability. Social caseworkers follow up with their clients to keep assessing the level of stress and check the adherence to their medication, if any. Skill in finding out alternative solution. Social caseworkers need the skill in finding out alternative solution so that they can discuss the possible approaches. After having established a congenial relationship and explored the person's problems, it is extremely important to discuss the possible approaches to solve the problem in greater detail and with full clarity. Alternative courses of action need to be thrashed out vividly and concretely in terms of its advantages, disadvantages, implications for everyone likely to be affected by this decision. Skill lies in helping the client to understand each alternative with its all implications and to decide for the best possible course of action in the given situation. The proposed actions have to be according to his or her capacity, status, resources, and community norms. Next, decision-making skill. Social caseworkers need to decide whether interpreters are needed for interviews. They assess the language skills of the person with the problem from their introductory interactions with him or her and the information received from the sources of referral. They consider the abilities of their own language and the client's comfort with interpreters before requesting assistance. Social caseworkers must use their skill in the selection of the programs and the social service agencies for the person. They take into account the needs of the person, goals and intervention plans, and the availability of suitable placements and resources. They should decide on the intervention strategies for solving the problem of the person. They should discuss these strategies in terms of their appropriateness, treatment cost, and their own preferences with the person. In this process, they will be guided by the protocols and precedents of their organizations. Social caseworkers decide to terminate the intervention at the appropriate time. They consider the degree to which problems have been resolved, the benefits of continuing counseling, and clients' abilities to maintain healthy living. For instance, a school social worker may terminate counseling for a child at the end of the school year if sufficient progress has been made. They may also consider their own professional limitations in dealing with their clients' problems and may make referrals to appropriate helping professionals. Next, the skill in the use of resources. Social caseworkers need the skill to identify the necessary resources which can be used as tools to help the client to solve his or her problem. They should tap these resources that are available among the friends or relatives of the client and in the environment in which he or she lives. However, the caseworkers should use this skill in such a way that the client does not feel embarrassed or his or her self-image is not affected. Next, the use of memory skill. Social caseworkers should have a good memory to remember the names and details of previous conversations with the person with the problem in order to maintain trust and rapport. They should be able to recall protocols for crisis interventions such as suicide assessments. Their memory may be helpful in remembering the names and effects of commonly used drugs and medications to answer questions. For example, social caseworkers in the field of mental health may recall the side effects of antipsychotic medications to understand their effects on persons. Next, the skill in working with others. Caseworkers function independently to provide casework service to the person with a problem. They coordinate intervention strategies with other social workers and professionals, including teachers, medical doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, police officers, and lawyers. This requires the skill in contacting, communicating, and building working relationship with other professionals as a team. The next skill is about continuous learning. Social case workers should cultivate the skill in continuous learning so that they can stay abreast of new community resources, casework interventions, and therapeutic interventions. They can benefit from the expertise of other professionals and learn by discussing experiences of casework with other caseworkers and participating in casework management teams. They may also learn from the feedback offered by clinical supervisors. Lastly, computer skill. In future, social workers will need improved continuous learning and acquire new knowledge. They will have to sharpen their computer skills to cope with the increasing use of information technology in the profession. For instance, as more information is available on the internet, social workers increasingly rely on the computer skills to locate information and continuous learning, which they can apply to their practice. They will also need skills to manage data and use casework management database. Let me sum up. Social case workers are working in different settings. Therefore, they are required to acquire certain essential skills in order to respond to the needs of different types of persons. These skills can be categorized as communication skill, problem solving skill, critical thinking skill, skill in finding out alternative solution, skill in the use of resources, decision making skill, memory skill, and computer related skill. Oral communication is understood as a process of sharing information or ideas by word of mouth. It can be formal or informal. Good writing skills enable one to communicate his or her message with clarity and comfort to a far larger audience than through face-to-face or telephone conversation. Text reading skill is necessary for a caseworker to function effectively in his or her practice. Suitable problem-solving skills such as enhancing the individual's inner resources, modifying the environment, linking with the external resources, and so on will help in finding solutions. Critical thinking involves searching for answers with an open mind and using information to serve in the best manner given the situation. When used correctly, these skills empower an individual during crisis situations and assist a worker in utilizing the available resources to the optimum level. Social case workers must use a skill in the selection of the programs and the social service agencies for their clients. They take into account the needs of the person, goals and intervention plans, and the availability of suitable placements and resources. Caseworkers need the skill to identify the necessary resources which can be used as tools to help the client to solve his or her problem. They should have a good memory to remember the names and details of previous conversations with the person in order to maintain trust and rapport. They need to develop the skills to work with others as they have to coordinate intervention strategies with other social workers and professionals, including teachers, medical doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, police officers, and lawyers. Let me sign off now and hope to see you in another session. Thank you.